Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be learning about a new note called the eighth note. Now, what differentiates the eighth note from a quarter note is this little tail right here. The eighth note is 1/2 of one beat. So to make one full beat, we need two eighth notes. When we connect two eighth notes, their tails stretch out and connect to form a bar between the two eighth notes, like this. This is purely a visual thing and doesn't change what the eighth notes sound like in the least. Since we know that there are 4 beats in each measure, and an eighth note is 1/2 of one beat, that means we can fit 8 eighth notes in each measure. Do you see how having the tails on each of the eighth notes makes it a little difficult to see where the 4 beats are? Watch what happens when we use the bars. It becomes much more obvious where each of the 4 beats is. So that's what they look like. But what does half of a beat sound like? Let's find out. Imagine 2 clocks. The one on the left is going to tick every second, like this. Think of these like our quarter notes, ticking on each beat. Now, the clock on the right is going to tick every half second and make a cowbell sound, while the clock on the left still ticks on every second, like this. Notice that not only are they taking the same amount of time to get around the clock, they line up exactly every second. The clock on the right is just marking smaller increments of time, in this case, 1/2 of a second. If we think of each second as one beat, this is the exact same relationship between quarter notes and eighth notes. Watch and listen to this. One more time. So just like with the clocks, it takes the same amount of time to go through the measure. We're just playing twice as frequently because we're measuring smaller increments of time. In this case, 1/2 of a beat. So how do we count that? We already know how to count the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need a syllable to mark the second half of each beat, which goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we use and for the second half of each beat. Now take a look at this example. In this example, we have 2 eighth notes on the second beat of the measure. I'm going to count and clap through this measure. Even though we're not playing eighth notes on every beat, I'm still going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and throughout the whole measure. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do that again. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So why did I count eighth notes even though they were only on the second beat? By counting eighth notes through the whole measure, I was basically telling myself and reminding myself what they were going to sound like before I needed to play them. That makes it really easy to place them accurately while keeping your place in the measure. As we learn even more note values, we're going to explore this idea more. So what would this measure sound like? As you can see, we have eighth notes on beat 2 and 3. And remember, we're going to count eighth notes through the whole measure, like this. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's hear that again. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Great. You ready for your next exercise? With any of these videos, don't be afraid to watch them through again if you're feeling unsure about the concepts or what something is supposed to sound like. Everyone will progress through different topics at different speeds, and it's always more important that you learn something accurately rather than quickly, especially with drums. Well, thanks for watching, keep on drumming, and I will see you in the next video.